of them did. And one of my best friends, Patty, she said that she was able to have a conversation with the ghosts, and she believed it was either my grandmother or my great-grandmother, because they both died in the house where I grew up in. So, and I didn't get to meet either of them, so I didn't really know what they were like. So I was fascinated. Oh, and then one time we were playing. We weren't quite teenagers yet, so we were playing with the idea of makeup and doing our hair and stuff like that. And I said, I'll be right back. I have to go to the bathroom. I came back in, and we had two of those pedestal lamps on. It was like a vanity, right, with the mirror, antique vanity with mirror and the little stool you sat on in the middle with you put your makeup and stuff and your perfumes. And then I came back up, and one of the pedestal lamps was laying down, split in half, like somebody had sawed it right in the middle. And she's just sitting there with her mouth open. And so she witnessed something paranormal. I'm not sure what that was. I don't know what the entity wanted us to know. And then another one, we were getting out the Christmas decorations. So we're sitting on the floor, we spread out the lights, and we're trying to untangle them. And we heard, you can always hear when a ghost or somebody was walking down the hall, because it was an old house. It was from the 1840s, and it was built in the 1840s, and it creaked, So we heard somebody creaking down the hall, and we turned around and looked, and there was nobody there, but the floors kept creaking, and then this ghost walked through me. I felt it, and walked through her. It was like, and then we both had the reaction, one after the other. It was like, and we just got up and ran outside.
Yeah,
so
I don't like that feeling at all.
No. So,
no, I used to be really terrified of hospitals because
so what encounters have you had with ghosts? Did you have encounters with ghosts?
No, not really that much, except for in hospitals. I mean, just seeing people in hospitals.
Well, go ahead. Tell us one of your hospital stories. And then, TJ, if you have a ghost story, you're next. Okay. So what happened that was going on in the hospital that you saw a ghost?
Well, I felt that, hospitals were really full of people. I mean, it felt like Grand Central Station at rush hour. Any hospital. And so I tried to avoid them because I don't really seek that communication. And I find that very unpleasant when people walk through you. It's
so you've had that
my
happen.
favorite experience. Yeah.
You've had them walk through you. Yeah, it's really weird. What did it feel like to you when it happened to you?
It's kind of like getting nauseous.
Yeah. And I had chills. It wasn't just up my spine. It was like chills, all it's like a cold breeze would go over your skin. This went right through the body. Like, oh my God! And then it went right to my girlfriend.
Kind of worked
she
on
did the same reaction. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Yeah, I try not to. I try not to have any ghost experiences, if I can help it.
So, what do you mean by you're a clairvoyant medium? Excuse me, medium. I thought medium mean that you pull in.
Well, I'm clairvoyant. Yeah, no, I don't like to do that. So I don't do that, and I don't channel beings through me anymore. I mean, I've tried that, but that's not. I don't like that. I don't want to share my body with anybody. So very particular about that. No, I like to look at the energies around something, or I see whatever comes up. So I'm like more looking at the energies and seeing what's happening, and where you see connections, of course, to other beings, if there are some. But to me, it's more important what's useful to the person right now. So if I have a client that comes, for a reading or something like that, if I tell them that their grandmother is there and loves them, it's not that useful unless they're ended on a really bad note, in which case that'll show up. So that's not really the kind of thing that I like to do, because I refer them to other people that I really love doing that. To me, it's more looking at what is actually really useful to them right now in their energy, and what can they do to change or clear it or add to it.
So do you have to be with somebody physically, or can you do this on the internet?
I only work over the phone. I only work
so
over
this
the
is
phone
a phone
because,
session.
Yeah, because we're people and we're judgmental. Even if we try not to ever be judgmental, we are still judgmental. And so if somebody calls me up and they see me, and they immediately see me as a human being with limited capabilities. Because that's what we do when we see a person. Okay, looks just like me. So already there is a lower level of what they will accept because of that initial judgment. And from my side too, I see that person and I immediately have also not just my clairvoyant eyes on them, but also my mind eyes that says like, oh, this person looks such and such, which is the natural thing that we do. So when you do work over the phone, you bypass that step of having to clear your mental judgments because they're not there. So you have to go with what comes through the spirit. So
that makes sense. It makes sense, yeah. So then when you're reading somebody through the phone, how does the information start coming to you? Who starts? Do you start? Do they start? Do you ask them questions to get their voice, or how do you begin?
Well, I usually start saying hello, like on a normal phone conversation.
Right.
But then after that, I ask them if they have any specific issues that they like to just put into the space. So if they have a specific question or something that they're working on, I allow that to be in that space. And then clear myself and whatever shows up. I tend to be more visual, so I see more pictures. Sometimes I hear things, but mostly things come to me in pictures.
So how do you see pictures? Are you like flashing through the universe and through time and space and through the past?
No, they just show up. They just show up. There's just a picture that'll show up. I connect with their spirit and I ask their spirit for the information that's useful to them right now. And whatever shows up, I go with.
So you'll get pictures. My cat will come over and go, meh, and she'll show me a picture like, I want to go see, my husband. And I go, okay. And then I walk over and she goes to the door and she directs me like, this is the way, because there's 3 ways to get back there. It's like, oh, no, you have to go this way. So it's like she sends pictures and I get them, right? So I never thought you could do that, but, an animal can send you pictures. And my 2 cats, they'll say if they want wet food or dry food or water, they'll send me pictures. I go, oh, okay. So, we've developed this. So I can imagine that's kind of what you get. You get pictures. And then once you get the pictures, what do you say?
I mean, either that a lot of times those pictures mean absolutely nothing to me, so then I'll just describe them to the person. And I have to say a lot of times it means more to them than I could possibly figure out from that picture. Or if the picture means something to me and I can interpret it right away, I will tell them what my feeling is about that picture, what that says. But I do also think that the picture comes from them. So if I really Well, if I really don't understand the picture, of course I try to wipe that screen clear a few times, but sometimes it's very persistent and comes right back. Then I will and usually it's very surprising how meaningful it is to the client.
That's fascinating. So you'll go through these pictures, and then you get the story of. Does that answer the questions most of the time that they pose, or the issue?
Yeah, it usually relates to the issue, and if I don't get anything, I'll tell them I don't get anything. And I, can't do it because obviously either I'm not the right person for them, or it's not the right time, or I'm also able to say, it's not like I have a client, I have to do this now. It's like if you go to the doctor and the doctor goes like, well, I can't help you today with that. I just don't know. So that happens too, of course.
Well, that's good. I mean, when it's working, when it's not, yeah. How do you, let's see, it says that you identify long past incidents which can be the source of current major depression or health issues. How does that work?
Well, then we go into the more healing work. So I coach people through doing healing works on themselves. And, well, when we're stuck, we're usually stuck because of something that happened at some point, this life, some other life. So you want to get to that to figure out what's blocking that. So if somebody has an issue, you can maybe see like, okay, so there's a wall, but then you go like, well, where did that wall come from? And you follow it back, or what needs to happen, or I will just pose the question, what has to happen for that wall to crumble? And I will, whatever shows up then. And I guess for some people, those walls came from other incidences. We get, I think there's 3 major areas in life that people would ask about. Either it's health, or it's relationship, or it's finances. Those are like the 3 major issues of life. And probably those 3 issues have been with us from day one and probably from past lives. So I would say those are the main things that people ask about. It has something to do, and if somebody carries like a big old wound about relationships and now asks like, I want to be in a relationship and I don't know why it's not working, something will probably show up that'll guide back to what closed the doors, or what makes them repel the relationship that they seek.
I want to bring on TJ. Do you want to bring a topic or ask Johanna questions, add to the conversation?
Yeah, I just tried to call Susan and ask her to come on, told her another psychic was on. I think she'd really enjoy this show. Johanna, we have a lot of people out there with, a lot. I wanted to get you back doing some readings with me, so we'll have to set that up after the first of the year. But I really liked that you trained people. And Janet asked me earlier to describe a ghost while you were talking. Now, I could see you were talking about hospitals, but I could see that I've seen people in the hospitals, but I've seen them here in my house too. Wondered if it was my daughter visiting again. But I've always been able to see shadows. And then once in my house, I watched some people building it was like they were in another realm, and they were building a brick wall while I was watching them. And they were working, and I wondered, how could I see in this other dimension? And that was my kids were real little, so but that's really good. And my kids grew up with me having tarot cards because I started reading everything I could get my hands on because I died and had out-of-body and near-death experience.